and Healy on Absolute Radio.
That was the demo version of Some Might Say with Noel Gallagher singing it. And I've got Noel here on the line. Noel, how you doing, man?
I'm alright, how are you?
Yeah, not bad.
Good.
So I wanted to ask you a few questions about this demo. And first of all, do you remember where you were when you wrote it?
I was living opposite, if anybody remembers, you might remember. No, maybe it was before your time. There's studios in Chiswick called Eden Studios.
Mm-hmm.
And they had, across the road, they had a house that if you were working at Eden Studios, you could rent one of the rooms in the house. But I wasn't working there. For some reason, I was living there. On top of it, on the top floor, above Mike Oldfield's ex-wife.
Oh.
Not that that has anything to do with anything. But and I wrote it over a couple of days in the top flat.
And did you write it on an acoustic?
It would have been. I probably wouldn't have had an electric guitar there. I remember being quite... Because I'd just moved to London, I think. Was kind of out sampling the nightlife of London. And I remember kind of coming home at all hours in the morning and writing, which is why the lyrics are kind of nonsensical about dogs itching in the kitchen and all that kind of thing. I was quite hammered when I wrote it. Sounds like, anyway.
The sink is full of fishes.
Yeah.
I was always thinking, I was always reading some kind of like naughty into that as a teenager.
Everybody would read different things into it and I would just agree with everyone and go, yes, that's what it is. That is what it is. It's about teenage prostitution.
Where did you record the demo?
I'd written this song and then I'd probably gone out on tour. When I came back, I'd moved into a flat that was owned by the Smiths in Chelsea because I'd met Johnny Marr in Manchester, hung out with Johnny, and he said, "Where are you living?" And I said, "Oh, I haven't got anywhere to live. I was in London. I'm kind of living out of a suitcase." And he said, the Smiths have got this flat in Chelsea. So he gave me the keys and I moved into this flat. It's this amazing flat, one of the best places I've ever lived in my life.
Oh, wow.
And I'd had this song. I was so excited about it. I thought it was going to be great that I wanted to do a demo of it. And at that point, I wasn't really big on doing demos. I mean, it was the only demo I ever did for Morning Glory, was Some Might Say.
Wow.
I'd kind of got hold of Owen Morris. He was down in Loco Studios in Wales, and he was recording what became Northern Soul by The Verve. And I said, "Where are you? I want to do a demo." And he said, "Well, I'm in Wales with The Verve." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he said, "But I think they're having the weekend off. So why don't you come down for the weekend?" So I jumped on the train and I went down to Loco Studios, and the demo is actually recorded with all the Verve's equipment.
Oh, wow.
So that's me playing the drums and the bass and all that, but it's actually Nick McCabe's rig and Simon Jones's bass. Another funny thing about that is on the way back, the train broke down in the Severn Tunnel for a couple of hours, and I actually wrote Acquiesce on the way back.
In the tunnel?
In the tunnel. So it turned out one of the best weekends ever.
As a fan, that's kind of pure gold, that story.
Yeah.
The album version, did you use any bits of what you did in the album version?
No.
Right.
Kind of played it to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Then we recut it back down in Loco Studios at a later date. About a year later, and as you well know, like you have to kind of do something special for Japanese record labels. And we came up one track short for something or other. Have you got anything for the Japanese? And somebody said, "What about that demo you did of Some Might Say?" And I thought, all right, so we dug it out. And the minute I heard it, I instantly preferred it because it was just a tiny bit slower.
Yeah.
It was a bit more 70s. And the way that we did it with Oasis was kind of a bit more Britpop.
Yeah.
And the demo was a bit dirtier and sleazier.
The guitar sound amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of a bit like All I Want to Do Is Rock. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know that song that you write is just too slow, but brilliant.
yeah, exactly.
And that's what was great about Some Might Say, because it was kind of, or the demo anyway, was like it was just too slow.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a bit more boozy.
Out of the two versions, I think you've answered this already. Which version are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of the song itself, which it's a funny song in the Oasis catalogue, because we gave up playing it pretty quickly because Liam kind of struggled with it. And it's probably my favourite Oasis song. I think the chorus is brilliant, and it was our first number one, so I've always got fond memories of it. Out of the two versions, which neither I've heard for quite a bit, I've got to say, I love the single version because of what it meant, but the demo's just certainly got something, and I'm listening to my mind's ear now, and I'm preferring the demo.
As a fan, it's just so loud, but it's clear, and it's very hard, and you'll know as well, to try and translate the loudness of a guitar in a room to get the same loudness coming across on a record? It always sounds
I have to say, because a lot of it has probably got to do with none of my equipment. I remember just turning the Verve's gear on, and that was it, and did it. Do you know what I mean? And if you listen to a Northern Soul, it's quite a rowdy record.
Noel, thanks a lot for chatting to us.
No worries, man. Good luck with your show.
Wow, Noel, what a writer. Okay, next up, Linda Ronstadt with A Different Drum.